All day the world has been moving around you and through you without a break. Messages, decisions, tiny reactions, bigger feelings, all of it pressing in, one after another, until it feels like life never takes its hands off you. Now your body is lying here, but somewhere inside it still feels like everything is in motion, as if someone forgot to hit the off switch. Maybe the notifications have finally gone quiet, but their echoes are still humming in the back of your mind. Maybe the conversations from earlier are replaying, or the ones you haven't had yet are already starting up in your head. There's this strange mismatch. The room is still, your body is horizontal, but the world inside your mind is still rushing past at daytime speed. You might feel like you've been braced all day, braced for the next thing to answer, the next thing to remember, the next thing to hold together. Even now in bed, it can feel like you're still on that moving walkway, being carried forward by momentum you didn't choose, when all you want is for everything to stop for a while. And here you are, reaching for something that promises exactly that. A place where the world can slow down enough that you can finally rest. That alone says a lot. You could have stayed in the scroll, or stayed in the spiral of thoughts, or just stared at the ceiling and let the noise keep running. Instead, you chose to press play on something quieter. That choice counts. It doesn't have to be dramatic or perfect to matter. You found your way to a voice that will keep you company while the rest of the world, outside and inside, is invited to soften and recede. You've already done the hard part for tonight. You stopped just enough to ask for a pause. From here, there is nothing to perform. There is no right way to listen, no special technique you have to remember. You don't need to follow every word. You don't need to focus hard or try to force anything to happen. If your attention drifts in and out, that's fine. If you miss whole sentences, that's fine too. This is not something you have to succeed at. This is simply a voice beside you, talking gently, while the day slowly unhooks itself from your shoulders. You might stay awake for a while just listening. You might find your thoughts wandering away from what I'm saying, and then wandering back. You might slip under sooner than you expect. Any of those is okay. The only job you have right now is to lie here and let time pass. So, for a moment, notice that you are here, in this one small place, even while the rest of the world keeps spinning somewhere else. The ceiling above you is not moving. The walls are holding their shape. The door, if it's closed, will stay closed. This little pocket of space does not need anything from you. Feel the surface underneath you, supporting your weight. The mattress or couch or whatever you're resting on is taking you in without asking for anything back. There is a simple, quiet agreement here. It holds you up, and you don't have to hold it together. Notice the points where your body meets that support. The back of your head, your shoulders, your arms, however they've landed, the length of your back, your hips, your legs, your heels. You don't have to change your position unless you want to. Just notice the contact, the way gravity is doing the work of settling you down. The air has a temperature against your skin. Maybe it's cool on your face, or warm under the covers, or a mix of both. The fabric that touches you, sheets, blanket, clothing, has its own texture. Soft, smooth, a little rough in places, familiar. You don't need to describe it, just feel that it's there. Somewhere in all of this, your breath is moving, in and out. It's been doing that all day without asking your permission, and it's still doing it now. You don't have to deepen it or slow it or fix it. Just every so often you might notice the way the air comes in and the way it leaves again. Maybe your shoulders are still holding a bit of the day. They often do. You don't have to drop them or relax them on purpose. Just let them be exactly how they are, and notice that they are no longer needed for anything active. They're not carrying bags or typing or reaching or gesturing. They're simply resting where they are. Your jaw might be a little tight or maybe not. Your forehead might be furrowed or smooth. However it is, it's okay. The thoughts that have been crowding in all day can keep drifting past for now. They don't all have to be sorted out tonight. They can be like distant traffic, still moving somewhere out there, but not on the road you're on. As you lie here, you might sense the difference between the world out there and the small world of this room. Out there are people still awake, lights still on, conversations still happening, schedules and expectations and noise. In here, there is just you, the quiet shapes of furniture, the soft presence of the bed, and this voice. Nothing in this room is asking you to answer it. No one here needs a reply, or a decision, or a plan. The to-do lists can stay blurry at the edges. If they float in, they can float out again. You don't have to chase them down or push them away. They can just be background, like a radio in another apartment that you're not really listening to. For tonight, the world can be a little smaller. Not the whole globe, not the entire web of people and tasks and news and noise. Just this rectangle of mattress, this stretch of pillow, this pocket of air around your body. That's all that needs to exist for you right now. Imagine, if it helps, that the day is on the other side of a closed window. You can know it's there without having to be in it. The sounds, the demands, the motion, all of that can stay on the far side of the glass. In here, the only thing that moves is your breath, and maybe the slow settling of your muscles as they realize there's nothing left to hold up. If thoughts about tomorrow show up, they can wait by that window too. They don't have to be solved, answered, or organized in this moment. You can mentally set them down, just for now, like putting a heavy bag by the door, knowing you can pick it up again in the morning if you need to. Right now, the world can pause at the edges of this room. Time can soften a little. The pace can slow to something your body can actually keep up with. You're here, lying down, being breathed, being held by the bed, and that is enough. As we move on, I'll keep talking to you in this same gentle way, like a quiet companion sitting nearby, while the noise of the day moves farther and farther away. You don't have to do anything with these words. You can simply let them wash past like waves on a shore that you're already lying on, eyes closed, nothing to prove. For now, stay just as you are. Feel the weight of your body, the softness beneath you, the air around you. The world can keep spinning without you for a while. This small stretch of night belongs only to you. The weight of your body has already begun to settle. Now imagine that all of this heaviness, all of this tiredness, has carried you into a quiet room deep inside a building that belongs only to you. The door has closed behind you with a soft final click. Not loud, just enough to say, gently, that the outside is on the other side of it now. The air in here is still and calm. It has that feeling of a room that has been waiting all day with the lights low, curtains drawn just enough, everything in its place, nothing buzzing, nothing urgent. In front of you, the room opens like a small indoor sanctuary. Walls around you, solid and steady. They do not press in. They simply stand, quiet and unmoving, like they have taken over the job of holding everything up, so you do not have to. Somewhere above, the light is soft and indirect, not bright, more like the glow of a shaded lamp in the corner, or light that has already passed through layers of fabric before it reaches your eyes. You can almost feel that gentleness on your skin, a warm dimness that asks nothing from you. Beneath you, the surface that holds your body is steady and sure. Your back rests against it. Your limbs are supported by it. Notice the way the mattress or the couch or whatever you are lying on meets you, the way it gives a little under the weight of your shoulders, your hips, the back of your head. This room is your control room, but not the kind full of noise and flashing lights. This is a quiet control room made of softness and warmth and still air. Everything that needs to be watched is already watched. Everything that needs to be held is already held. To one side you can sense a panel of switches and dials, not sharp or metallic, but smooth, like well-worn buttons on an old favorite device. They are within reach, even if you never lift a hand. Just knowing they are there is enough. Some of the switches control sound. Far away outside these walls, life may still be moving. But in here, the walls are thick and kind. Any distant noise reaches you only as a faint muffled hint, like voices in another wing of the building, behind several closed doors. Feel how your body responds to that, the way your jaw can loosen when nothing sudden is expected, the way your forehead can soften when there is nothing to track. You can imagine reaching without effort to one of those sound switches. You turn it down just a little. Whatever hum of the day is left, you lower it to a background murmur, like a fan in another room. Barely there, not important. Notice your breathing in this control room. Each inhale moves through the quiet air, smooth and unhurried. Each exhale lands softly in the space around you, as if the room itself is absorbing it, holding it, and then going still again. The temperature in here is exactly what your body has been wanting, not something you had to think about or adjust. The air rests on your skin like a light blanket. If your hands are outside the covers, they can feel a slight coolness, like the room is calmly awake around you. If your body is under blankets, there is a pocket of warmth gathered close, like your own small climate inside these walls. Notice the weight of your hands, how they lie where you place them. The fabric beneath your fingers has its own quiet texture. Maybe it is smooth, like worn cotton. Maybe it has a faint weave you could trace if you wanted to. You do not need to move. Just knowing that texture is there, under your fingertips, is enough. Your feet are part of this control room too, the heels sinking slightly into the surface, the way the blanket or sheet drapes over your toes, soft and unhurried. The fabric makes small folds and valleys around your ankles, like gentle hills of cloth that rise and fall without any effort from you. All around you, the walls of this room keep their silence. They do not echo. They do not shout anything back. If a thought comes, it lands softly, as if the walls have been padded with something thick and forgiving that absorbs the sharp edges. In front of you, you might picture a main panel, the heart of this control room. On it are simple, clear controls for your body. Not complicated, not technical. Just a few steady levers that respond to your quiet attention. One of them is labeled shoulders. Without moving, simply imagine your awareness resting on that lever. As you breathe out, the lever eases down a notch. Your shoulders respond by sinking a little deeper into what supports them. They do not need to hold anything up right now. The room is doing that for you. Another lever is for your jaw. You may not have realized how much work it was doing. On your next exhale, picture that jaw lever sliding down, smooth and slow. Your teeth separate just enough. Your tongue finds a softer place to rest, The muscles along the sides of your face loosen, like a shirt collar being unbuttoned at the end of the day. There is a dial for your eyes, even if they are already closed. You turn it gently toward dim. The tiny muscles around your eyes soften. The space behind your eyes feels less busy, less bright, as if someone has drawn a curtain across a window inside your mind, leaving only this quiet room around you. Every time you notice a part of your body that feels tight, you can imagine there is a small switch for it on the panel. Back of the neck, lower back, hands. You do not need to touch anything. Just by bringing your awareness to that imaginary switch, it clicks softly down. The tension reduces, like the volume of a sound being lowered. Listen for the subtle sounds inside this room. Maybe the faintest creak of the surface as your weight settles, the whisper of fabric when your chest rises and falls, the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, the most reliable sound system in this entire space. If any thoughts from the day appear at the doorway of this room, they do not burst in. They stay out in the hallway like visitors who have arrived after hours and see the low light under the door. They understand that this room is closed for now. They can wait on a quiet bench outside until morning. The control room has its own sense of time. Clocks here are unimportant. There are no blinking digits, no ticking hands, just a slow, steady rhythm that matches your breath. Inhale, the room fills a little. Exhale, the room settles again. Feel the back of your head where it meets the pillow or cushion, the way it presses down, making a shallow, perfect hollow that fits you exactly. The material does not argue. It simply shapes itself around you, holding that shape as long as you need it to. Your spine lies along its own quiet line, each vertebra resting one after another, like switches already turned off for the night. The upper back, the middle, the lower, all of them supported by the same steady surface, the same patient room. Your chest rises, your chest falls. Somewhere in the background of this control room, a soft indicator light glows with each breath, not demanding attention, just quietly confirming that everything is working, everything is continuing, without you having to manage any of it. If there is any part of you that still feels like it is out in the world, working or watching or bracing, imagine guiding it gently through that closed door and into this room. You do not have to push, just invite it in. The moment it crosses the threshold, the walls take over the job of holding things. The air cools any leftover heat from the day. The soft light wraps around whatever has been tired for too long. Here, you are in the center of your own quiet building. Rooms and corridors may stretch out beyond this one, but they are all dim and still. Only this room is awake with a gentle kind of awareness, and even that awareness is beginning to soften at the edges. The controls are set exactly where they need to be for now. Sound turned low, muscles eased down, light softened, walls steady. All you have to feel is the weight of your body against what holds it, the steady touch of fabric on your skin, the calm, predictable rhythm of your breath moving through this indoor sanctuary. The world outside this room can continue on its own. In here, everything has already slowed, everything has already quieted, and you can rest inside this control room, knowing that for now, the building of your life is dimmed, the switches are lowered, and the only task left is to sink a little deeper into the softness that surrounds you. The day is still somewhere behind you, like a hallway you have already walked down. Here, You are at the doorway. Not a doorway you have to picture clearly or decorate in your mind. Just the simple sense of an entrance, a threshold, the place where outside ends and inside begins. Your body knows this feeling. The way shoulders change when you step in from the world, the way the air feels different on your skin. Even here, lying where you are, that moment can arrive again. Imagine you are standing just inside a door. Behind you, the day. In front of you, this quiet room. Your hands are empty, or maybe you still feel the faint memory of weight in them. Handles, straps, something you were carrying. Notice how your real hands rest now, the way your fingers curl or stretch, the gentle pull of skin across your knuckles. There is nothing to hold anymore. The weight that used to sit on your shoulders, in your arms, travels downward. It moves into the mattress, into the pillow, into whatever is supporting you. Your body gives it away, piece by piece, without needing to try. Each exhale is like setting something down just inside that door. A bag, a bundle of thoughts, the half-finished sentences of the day. You don't need to list them. You don't need to unpack them. Just feel the sense of something being placed on the floor, out of your hands. Notice the way your back meets the bed, or the chair, or the surface under you. That contact is your entryway, solid, steady, waiting for you. The doorway behind you is still open. You can almost feel a faint draft at your back, the coolness of the day, the noise, the movement. It doesn't rush in. It just lingers, like air from another room. The front of your body is turned away from it now. Your chest faces inward, toward the quiet. Your face, your knees, your feet, all angled toward the inside of this space, away from the hallway of the day. Your breath moves like someone slowly closing up a house for the night. In, out, checking the windows, turning off lights. Nothing urgent, nothing dramatic, just one small ordinary motion at a time. Sense the doorframe at your back, the outline of where the day ends. It doesn't need to be sharp or clear, just a gentle awareness that there is a line, and you are on this side of it. Your heels rest where they are, a little heavier now, like shoes dropped by the door. Think of how it feels to come home and slip your feet out of your shoes, the way the floor greets your bare soles, the first step without that extra layer. Here, your heels do that with the bed. They press down, the fabric gives, the support underneath takes their weight without question. Your ankles follow, softening. Your calves sink a little deeper. You have arrived. The air around you is your hallway light, turned low, not bright, not dark. Just enough to move by if you needed to. But you don't. You can stay right here, at this inner doorstep. If any sounds drift in from far away, they are like muffled noises from the street outside the front door. A car passing, a voice in the distance, somewhere beyond the walls of your evening. They can stay out there. The door does its quiet work. It doesn't argue. It doesn't push back. It simply stands, closed or almost closed, between you and everything else. Your jaw loosens the way a key slides out of a lock. Your tongue rests against the floor of your mouth. Your lips soften where they meet. Your face no longer has to greet anyone or answer anything. It can be just a face, turned inward, in the dim hallway of your own quiet. Feel the temperature of the air on your cheeks. Is it cooler than the pillow? Warmer than the space near the blanket? This is the inside weather of your night. Small currents of air moving around you, like the way a house settles after the last door is closed. Your shoulders are the coat hooks by the door. All day they have held things, bags, expectations, posture. Now one by one those invisible coats slip off. They slide down your arms, fall through the mattress, and are gone. Your collarbones widen, even if only a millimeter. Your upper back spreads. The muscles between your shoulder blades no longer have to brace for anything. They can simply lean. Here, in this stillness, your breath is the hand on the doorknob. On the in-breath, the door stays as it is. On the out-breath, it moves a little closer to closing. You don't have to see it. Just feel the way your body responds. Each exhale, a tiny click, a soft shift, a little more of the outside world left on the other side. Your hands might rest near your sides or on your body. Wherever they are, notice their weight, the way your palms hold the warmth of your skin or the coolness of the sheet, the way your fingers curl like keys placed in a small bowl by the entrance. Keys you will not need again tonight. Your legs stretch out in front of you, like a hallway that leads inward. The backs of your thighs settle. Your knees release any tightness they were holding. Your shins lie still, and your feet become heavy at the far end, like the last light switched off at the end of the corridor. All the walking, all the standing, all the moving through the world has paused. The floor of this inner room has taken over now. It carries you without asking for anything in return. Above you, there is an invisible ceiling. It doesn't press down. It simply exists, like the roof of a quiet home at night. Between that ceiling and the bed beneath you, your body hangs in its own small pocket of air and warmth, enclosed, contained, nothing spilling out into the day behind you. If thoughts still move, they are like the last few things you set down by the door, a bag you forgot you were carrying, a letter you meant to read. You can place them gently on a small table in your mind near that entrance. They will be there in the morning untouched. For now, they can rest there, instead of in your hands. Your chest rises and falls. Feel the fabric over it move, even if only slightly. That movement is like the soft swing of a door that is almost closed. It doesn't slam. It doesn't shut you in. It just eases itself towards stillness. With every slow breath, the gap narrows. The sounds of the day become more distant. The brightness of earlier hours fades, like light under the crack of a door in another room. You are on this side, inside. Here, your neck can lengthen without effort. The back of your head finds its place against the pillow. The small points of contact, the curve of your skull, the edges of your ears, the line where your hair meets the fabric, are like the last clicks of locks sliding into place. Quiet, precise, final for the night. The room you have entered is simple. Just wait, just warmth, just the steady rhythm of your own breathing. You don't have to organize it or understand it. You are simply in it, the way you stand in a familiar hallway in the dark, knowing the shape of everything without needing to see. Behind you, the day stands on the other side of that closed door. It can wait there. The handle will be there in the morning, exactly where you left it. For now, the only thing that matters is the way your body settles into this inner home, the way your ribs soften, the way your stomach loosens, the way your spine curves naturally into the support beneath it. Everything that needed watching has been watched. Everything that needed holding has been held. The door on the day rests in its frame, quiet and still, and you are here, inside the hush that follows, with nothing left to carry but your own gentle breathing. Each exhale softens the room a little more. As your breath moves in and out, imagine the world around you lit by small, gentle lights, not harsh or bright, just a scattering of lanterns and candles, each one a tiny island of glow in the quiet. With every slow breath out, one light somewhere in this world grows dimmer. The air around you carries a soft hush, like the moment when someone cups a hand around a flame, not to snuff it out, only to shield it, to calm it. Your chest rises, and a faint brightness swells. Your chest falls, and that brightness eases, like a wick turning down. Inhale and feel a subtle glow behind your ribs, warm and low. Exhale and sense that glow soften, as if a lantern inside you is being gently shaded. Somewhere at the edges of your awareness, picture a long street of windows. Each window holds a small light, a desk lamp, a bedside lamp, a single candle on a table. With every breath you release, one of those distant lights clicks off, or is pinched quietly between careful fingers. You do not have to see them clearly, just know they are there, like stars behind thin clouds. Each exhale is a fingertip on a switch, a soft turn, a quieting. Your eyelids rest like curtains half drawn. On the inside of them, the glow of the day has already faded. Notice the way darkness here is not empty. It has its own texture, a velvety shade, like the moment a lampshade is turned, and the whole room drops into a lower, kinder tone. Feel the weight of your hands wherever they are resting. Imagine that each hand holds an old-fashioned lantern by its handle. At first, they glow a little too bright. The metal is warm. The glass is clear. As you breathe out, the flames inside those lanterns shrink just a fraction. The glass fogs slightly with your slow, warm breath. The handles cool against your skin. Your fingers loosen, as if the lanterns are now so light, so faint, they could hang from invisible hooks beside you instead. Your shoulders too have been holding light, tiny buzzing bulbs of effort and alertness. With your next exhale, imagine reaching up in your mind and twisting those bulbs a quarter turn, not off, just down, from bright white to a soft amber, from alert to almost sleep. The muscles around your eyes have their own dimmer switch. Feel the small space between your eyebrows. As you breathe out, imagine turning a little knob there, and the light behind your forehead fades to a warm dusk. Thoughts that were sharp and bright now glow like distant street lamps seen through a window, their edges blurred. Here, in this stillness, the world outside begins to power down. Picture a wide room somewhere far beyond your body. Maybe it is a station, or a hall, or a quiet office floor. Overhead, rows of fluorescent lights hum. With each long, slow breath, another row goes dark, one by one, in a steady, gentle rhythm. No rush, no abrupt snap. Just a soft, descending series of clicks. Inhale. The remaining lights hold. Exhale. Another line of them fades, leaving only a soft afterimage in the air. Feel your jaw, the hinge where so much of the day has lived. The words you spoke, the words you swallowed. Imagine a small candle resting there, at the base of your tongue. Its flame has been standing straight and tall, working hard to stay upright. As your jaw loosens, as your lips rest without effort, see that candle's flame grows shorter, rounder, more relaxed. It no longer needs to reach. It simply burns low, a tiny bead of gold, content to barely move. The back of your neck, the line where your head meets your body, holds a row of tiny switches, each vertebra a little toggle of light. As you breathe out, move down that row in your mind, one by one, clicking them into evening mode. At the base of your skull, the first switch, a soft click, a small relief. At the middle of your neck, another. The muscles there uncoil, as if the light has shifted from bright overhead to a lamp in the corner. At the tops of your shoulders, the last ones. When they move, when they slide into their resting place, your shoulders drop by a whisper, and the whole upper half of you feels like a room lit only by a single steady candle. Nothing outside this moment needs your brightness. The world can manage in its own dim twilight for a while. Street signs can glow on their own. Screens can cool to black. Windows can show only the faintest reflection of what is inside them. Your breath is the caretaker walking through this world, moving from switch to switch, lamp to lamp. Slow, unhurried footsteps, a hand reaching up, a small movement, a soft sound as the light reduces and the shadows lengthen in a comforting way. As you inhale, imagine this caretaker pausing, looking around, making sure everything is ready. As you exhale, another light goes down, another corner softens, another hard edge disappears into shadow. The muscles across your chest and ribs can feel this too. They have been like bright windows all day, wide open, light spilling out. Now, as you breathe more slowly, those windows draw their curtains, not all at once. First one side, then the other. The glow inside becomes private, contained, gentle. Notice the weight of your legs, heavy, present. They are like long corridors where lights once stayed on late into the night. Now the corridor lights are turning off in sequence. At your hips, a warm fixture dims, and the muscles there release a little. At your thighs, the next pair of lights soften, and the fabric beneath you receives more of your weight. At your knees, another set. They no longer need to be ready to move, to bend, to respond. Their lights can sink to a faint glimmer. At your calves and ankles, the final corridor lamps fade until only a quiet glow remains at your feet, like the last nightlight left on in a sleeping house. Even your fingers, each one has held a spark of the day, gripping, typing, reaching. Imagine tiny candles at the tips of each finger, 10 small flames. As you breathe out, a glass shade is lowered over each one, not to extinguish, only to soften. The flames still exist, but their light is muted, like whispers instead of voices. Your mind may still flicker, the way a bulb does just before it settles. Thoughts may flash like brief, bright filaments. That is all right. Picture a dimmer being turned slowly, steadily. Even if the light flares for a moment, the hand on the dial does not stop. It keeps moving toward darkness, toward rest. The space behind your closed eyes is now a room lit by almost nothing. Perhaps a single candle on a far table. Its light is enough to show that the room is there, that it holds you, that the walls are steady, but the corners are soft. The ceiling is lost in shadow. The floor is a dark, quiet field. Here, in this near dark, your breath is the only movement. In, a faint glow rises, just enough to trace the outline of your body from the inside. Out, the glow falls back, like a lamp turned low, leaving only warmth, not brightness. Somewhere, The last bright sign outside your window has gone dark. Somewhere, a hallway motion sensor has decided no one is coming and has eased itself to black. Somewhere, a tiny indicator light on a machine has shifted from sharp blue to a sleepy amber. All the small lights of the world are agreeing together to rest. Inside you, the same agreement is forming. Muscles soften in the dimness. Breath moves in its own slow rhythm, like a hand turning a knob down and down and down again. The world does not need your full light right now. For this stretch of time, you can be like a house at night, curtains drawn, porch light off, only a faint glow at one window, deep within, where someone has fallen asleep with a bedside lamp still on low. As your next breath leaves you, imagine reaching out in that quiet inner room and gently turning that last lamp down until it is nothing more than a memory of light in the dark. And in that soft shadowed space, your body continues to breathe, steady and calm, while the lights of the world, one by one, fade into silence. The rhythm of your breathing continues steady and simple. In, out. Each breath like a small, patient hand turning the key of a music box. Not fast, not forced, just one soft turn at a time. Inside, the day has been a kind of noise. Thoughts, plans, memories, all chiming over one another. Now, as you breathe, it is as if someone has found the little music box at the center of your chest and has started to wind it down. Feel the air moving in through your nose, cooler on the way in, warmer on the way out. This is the quiet mechanism, the simple, honest motion that keeps turning, even when everything else is tired. Imagine that with each inhale, the spring of the music box gathers a bit of tension. Not the tense kind you know from your day, a different kind. The kind that knows it will soon be released into softness. And with each exhale, you hear the faintest suggestion of notes. Not loud, not even clear. Just a distant, delicate melody, almost too soft to catch. Your chest rises. The music box whines. Your chest falls. A few more notes drift out and fade into the room. Notice the weight of your body as it rests, the way your back or your side meets the surface beneath you, as if the mattress or couch or blanket is the velvet lining of a box, made only to cradle what you are. Inside that lining, the music plays on, slowly now, each breath a turn, each exhale a note. Bring your attention to your jaw. So many words have passed through it today. So many unspoken sentences held there as quiet pressure. Now imagine a tiny click, the sound of a music box lid being gently closed. Your jaw softens. Your tongue rests heavier in your mouth. The muscles around your cheeks loosen, as if the last bright note of a song has finally had time to fall away. Feel your eyelids. They lie over your eyes like the hinged lid of that little box, lowered, drawn shut, protecting the mechanism inside from any more bright light or movement. Behind your closed eyes there is that same soft darkness where music goes when it finishes, not empty, just quiet, like a room after a lullaby has ended, and the air still remembers the shape of the sound. Your breath continues, in, out. The music box inside you keeps turning, but more slowly now. Bring your awareness to your shoulders. They have been holding up the whole day. Imagine that each shoulder is a small metal gear in the winding mechanism, teeth interlocking, always ready to catch, always ready to hold. With your next exhale, Feel those gears ease, as if the teeth have slipped just enough to rest. The shoulders sink a little deeper into where they lie, like a gear that has finally been allowed to stop turning. Your arms follow, from the tops of your arms, down to your elbows, down to your wrists. Each segment its own quiet piece of the machinery slowing. Notice the weight of your hands, the way they rest, palms up or palms down, fingers curled or straight. They no longer have to reach for anything. They can be like the small metal key of the music box folded back into place, no longer needed. With each breath out, feel a tiny unwinding through your fingers, as if invisible springs inside each knuckle are releasing their stored up tension, one by one. The fingers may even feel a little warmer or heavier as they settle. Return to the center of your chest. Imagine the tiny cylinder of the music box there, covered in its pattern of raised bumps. Earlier, it spun quickly, throwing notes into every corner of your mind. Now it turns at the pace of your breathing. Inhale. The cylinder gathers its slow spin. Exhale. A few more notes appear, so soft they are almost just the memory of sound. Feel your ribs expand and soften with that motion. On the inhale, they open like the sides of a box accepting the winding key. On the exhale, they close in a gentle protective curve, holding the faint melody inside. Move your awareness down into your belly. This is the deep, low chamber where the last notes echo. As you breathe in, your belly rises, making space. As you breathe out, it falls, like the final chord of a song, settling into silence. Notice if there is any tightness here, any clenching, any small knot of effort. Imagine the music box's last notes traveling down into that spot, vibrating through it with a kindness that does not demand anything. On the next exhale, feel that knot loosen just a little, not all at once, just enough for the air to move more freely, enough for the music to soften its grip. Your hips, your thighs, the backs of your legs, these have carried you, held you upright, moved you through the day. Now they can be like the base of the music box, solid and still. They do not need to move or respond. They just support the quiet above them. Sense the weight of your legs sinking. Imagine that with each breath out, a small gentle hand is turning the key one less time. The song grows slower. The spaces between the notes grow wider. Your knees relax, no longer hinged for action. Your calves soften, no longer ready to step. Your ankles and feet rest like the small felt pads that keep the box from scratching the surface it sits on. Soft, unmoving, perfectly enough. Listen inward now, as if your whole body were that music box. Every thought that tries to rise is just another tiny note. It appears. It rings for a moment. Then it fades into the growing hush. You do not have to chase any of those notes. You do not have to remember the melody. The song of the day has been played. What remains is the gentle slowing of the mechanism. Your breathing guides this slowing. Inhale, and the spring inside you gathers the last of its quiet strength. Exhale, and the remaining notes drift away like specks of dust in still air, visible for a second, then gone. Notice how the pauses between your breaths feel. That small space at the top of the inhale, that small space at the bottom of the exhale. These are the moments when the music does not play at all, where the cylinder hangs, almost motionless, before turning again. Rest your attention in those tiny pauses. They are like doorways into silence. You do not need to stay there long. Just touch them with your awareness, the way a fingertip might graze the smooth lid of the box. The world outside may still carry its own sounds, but inside, the lid is closing. The mechanism is winding down. The last notes are so faint now that they feel more like a feeling than a sound. Your forehead smooths. Your scalp releases its quiet grip. Even the small muscles around your ears soften, as if they are no longer straining to hear anything at all. Everything that needed your attention today has had it. Every bright chiming demand has been answered as much as it can be for now. The music of being on has played itself out. Now the silence gathers. Not an empty silence, a full, gentle one. Like the hush in the air after a child's music box has finished, and the room holds the memory of the tune without needing to hear it again. Your breath continues, but it no longer feels like a key turning. It feels like the soft stillness that remains when the key has been set down. In, out, quiet. The box within you rests. The song of the day is over. All that remains is the softness of your body, the steady rhythm of your breathing, and the deep growing silence that is here to hold you while everything powers down. Each exhale settles a little more of the day. The muscles of your face, your jaw, your throat, all know this rhythm now. Inhale, gentle and unforced. Exhale, a slow unhooking. Somewhere in front of you, in the quiet space of your mind, a doorway begins to take shape. Not a grand entrance, just an ordinary door. Solid, simple, familiar in a way you can feel more than see. With your next breath in, sense the space you are in now, the room that holds your body. The weight of you, resting, the air around your skin. With your next breath out, sense that doorway a little more clearly. It stands at the edge of this night, between now and everything that waits for you tomorrow. The floor beneath it is steady. The frame is straight. The handle is within easy reach, but there is no rush to touch it. Your whole body is on this side of the door. Tonight's side, the side of pillows and blankets and the slow, steady pull of sleep. On the other side, tomorrow is waiting. All the lists, all the conversations, all the choices and questions and small, unfinished things. You do not have to sort through them now. They can stand together, quietly, in that other room. Notice your breath again. The way the air comes in through your nose, cool or warm. The way it leaves, softer, like a sigh that has been waiting all day. As you breathe, imagine you are standing just inside this doorway, on the night side. Your back is to the room of tomorrow. Your face is turned toward the calm of this dark, quiet space. Feel your shoulders. On the inhale, they might rise a tiny bit. On the exhale, allow them to drop, as if you were setting down a heavy bag you had forgotten you were carrying. That bag belongs to tomorrow's side of the door, not here. With each breath out, you can feel one strap slipping from your shoulder. A thought about what you need to remember. A worry about how something will turn out. A conversation you keep replaying. One by one they slide off and land gently just beyond the threshold, on tomorrow's floor. The door is still open. Nothing is locked away. You are simply placing these things where they belong in time. Bring your awareness to your hands. Notice how they rest. Fingers curled or loose. Palms warm against fabric or air. Imagine your hands reaching out in your mind to the doorway, not to open it, but to trace its edges, the smooth line of the frame, the coolness of the handle that you are not using right now. Your hands know this boundary. They recognize the difference between what is for now and what is for later. As you breathe in, feel the air travel down into your chest, your ribs widening just enough to make space. As you breathe out, feel your chest soften, like a door slowly swinging closer to its frame. Somewhere, faintly, you can sense the hum of tomorrow, the subtle buzz of tasks and timing and people. All of it remains on the other side of that door. Here, on this side, the air is quieter, thicker with rest, heavier with stillness. Bring attention to your spine, from the base of your skull down to where it meets your hips. Imagine it as the central hinge of your own doorway, every vertebra a small careful joint. On the inhale, that hinge lengthens, creating a little more space between each piece. On the exhale, it settles, as if the door were leaning gently into its frame, finding the place where it fits just right. Your body is the room of tonight. Soft walls of muscle, warm floor of skin and bone. A ceiling of quiet thoughts that grow dimmer with every breath. Outside this room, beyond the doorway, tomorrow waits like coats on hooks in a hallway. Ready when you are, still when you are not. Feel your forehead from the inside, the space behind it, the place where thoughts usually move quickly, like people hurrying through a busy doorway. Now imagine that inner doorway narrowing. Only one thought at a time can pass through, and then only one breath at a time. Inhale, exhale. Thoughts that try to rush the doorway slow down. They line up politely in tomorrow's room on the other side. They can wait their turn. Your eyelids rest like doors already halfway closed, heavy, supported by the bones around them. Behind them, the quiet dark is its own private room. Notice the weight of your tongue in your mouth, how it relaxes when you are not speaking, not planning what to say. It settles against the floor of your mouth, as if it too has stepped away from the threshold and come deeper into the room of rest. The doorway stands where it is, steady, patient. With every breath, you move a little farther from it, deeper into tonight's space. Feel your legs now, the length of your thighs, the bend of your knees, the weight of your calves. Imagine that each muscle is like a door that was held open all day. On the inhale, you notice the effort it took to hold those doors open. On the exhale, one by one, they swing gently closed. The doors in your hips, the doors in your knees, the doors in your ankles. Each closing is quiet. Each closing is a small relief. Your feet rest like they have stepped out of a long corridor and finally reached a room with no more thresholds to cross tonight. The soles, the arches, the toes, all unclenching from the day's movement. You can sense, if you wish, that tomorrow's shoes are waiting neatly by the door on the other side. They will be there when you step through again. You do not need them now. Here, the floor under you is enough. The softness that holds your heels, the fabric that rises just slightly to meet the weight of you. Bring your attention back to your breath, as if it were a quiet visitor standing in the doorway of your chest, not demanding anything, just arriving, then leaving, arriving, then leaving. Each inhale crosses the threshold into you. Each exhale steps back out, carrying with it a trace of the day. You can imagine, if it helps, that with every breath out, you are gently placing one more small piece of tomorrow outside the door. The email you meant to answer, the decision you have not made, the thing you wish you had said differently, they all go out into that other room, where time moves differently, where they can wait without pressing against you. Inside this room of tonight, your only job is to breathe, to feel the weight and warmth of your own body, to notice how the bed or the surface beneath you rises up to meet every part of you that rests on it. The doorway does not disappear. It just becomes less important, the way a hallway fades from your mind once you have reached the room you wanted. You are in that room now, within the walls of your own quiet, held by the simple mechanics of inhale and exhale. If at any moment a piece of tomorrow slips back in, you can guide it gently to the threshold again. Picture yourself placing it just outside on the other side of the door, closing it softly behind you. Feel how your chest loosens when you do that, how your belly has more room to rise and fall, how your jaw unhooks a little more. The world beyond this doorway will still be there when morning comes. The handle will still turn. The floor will still be solid beneath your feet. For now, the door rests in its frame. Tomorrow is outside. You are inside. Breath moving. Muscles unwinding. Thoughts dimming like lights in a hallway after the last person has gone through. Nothing is required of you on this side of the door, except to be here, to feel your body as the quiet room it has become, to follow the slow, steady opening and closing of the only doorway that matters right now, the one between each inhale and each exhale. Each exhale settles a little more space around you. The world of screens and sounds and scrolling has faded back. What remains now is wider, quieter, softer. Behind your closed eyes, there is a kind of sky, not above you, not outside the room, but inside. A wide open sky that begins just behind your forehead and stretches back through the whole of you. Thoughts move across it like clouds. Some are thin, almost see-through. Some are heavier, with edges that feel a little sharp. Some are just small wisps, already dissolving as they appear. You do not have to chase any of them. Feel your next inhale, cooler at the tip of your nose, a slight stretch in the ribs, a gentle rise under your chest, and then the exhale, a soft settling downward, the way the body sinks by a fraction, as if gravity has grown a little kinder. With that slow rhythm, notice how the inner sky responds. On the inhale, clouds may gather a little, shapes of thought forming, drifting in. On the exhale, they spread out, thin at the edges, losing their urgency. Your forehead is the horizon. Behind it, the sky of mind opens. Any tightness there can soften, like a patch of dense cloud slowly warming in sunlight. The small muscles around your eyes can release, as if a wind has changed and the weather is easing. Thoughts may still appear. They can cross and recross this inner sky, but the sky itself is not disturbed. Bring your attention to the weight of your eyes, heavy lids resting, the quiet darkness behind them. In that darkness, imagine a high, clear space, so high that even the busiest thoughts look tiny, like distant birds you can barely make out. They move how they move. They turn and wheel and pass, but the sky does not strain to hold them. Each breath widens that sense of space. Inhale, and the sky seems to expand at the edges. Exhale, and it settles deep and calm, as if finding its natural size. Your jaw loosens just a little more, tongue resting low, teeth not quite touching. Inside the mouth there is also sky, a small quiet pocket of air, still and at ease. The back of your head where it meets the pillow has its own gravity. Notice how it presses down, how the surface beneath gives just enough, holding that pressure without question. Above that point of contact, the inner sky continues. Thoughts may drift there like higher clouds, barely moving. So far away they no longer have words, just shapes. Sometimes a thought arrives suddenly, like a bird darting across your view. A flash of movement, a brief flutter of wings. You can watch it come and go. You do not have to name it. You do not have to follow where it flies. The chest rises again. Air comes in. The sky brightens just a little with that freshness. The chest falls. Air moves out. The sky deepens, a slower shade, like evening settling, but never fully dark. Bring awareness now to your shoulders. Any strain there can feel like low, heavy clouds, weighted, full. With each exhale, those clouds thin. They stretch across more space. What felt solid becomes streaks and veils, barely holding together. Underneath, the wide sky of your upper back appears, cooler, quieter, open. Your arms rest where they are. The weight of them is simple, honest. No effort in the fingers, no task in the palms. Inside each arm, imagine a long, clear corridor of sky, from shoulder to elbow, from elbow to wrist, from wrist to fingertip. Any leftover tension is like a brief change of weather, a passing gust, a small local storm that never fills the whole sky. Breathe in. The air travels in its own way, through nose and throat and lungs. Breathe out. Clouds rearrange, soften, blur at the edges. Thoughts about the day may appear, screens you looked at, words you read, faces, messages, moments. See them now as tiny shapes far off in the distance, like a cluster of birds on a far horizon, recognizable but too far to disturb you. They may lift, circle once, and then vanish into the brightness. Or they may simply stay where they are, small and unimportant against the wide expanse. Your ribcage moves with a slow tidal rhythm, up and out, down and in. Inside, the sky continues, vast and quiet, stretching through the center of your chest, behind your heart, down into the soft space of your belly. If there is tightness there, it can be like a knot of weather, a swirl of wind, a small storm turning in place. With every exhale, the edges of that storm loosen. The spin slows. It spreads out into gentler currents until it is only a faint breeze moving through a very large space. Notice the weight of your hips, how they sink into what holds you, solid, steady, unmoving. Above that anchor, the sky of your torso feels broader now, less crowded, more quiet distance between each cloud of thought. Some clouds may carry emotion, a heaviness, a color, a sense of something unfinished. They can still drift. They can still move across. They do not have to resolve tonight. The sky does not rush its weather. Bring your attention down through your legs, thighs, knees, shins, ankles. each part resting, doing nothing but being exactly where it is. Inside each leg, the sky continues, long and open, like a clear band of blue that runs all the way to the soles of your feet. Even your toes can feel that quiet spaciousness, not as an image you need to hold, but as a sense of more room inside the skin, more room for ease. Above all of this, thoughts may still pass. They may try to pull your gaze. They may flare bright for a moment, like sunlight catching on the wing of a bird. You can watch them without leaning forward, without leaving the softness of your body, without climbing into their stories. The sky of your mind is vast enough for every cloud, every bird, every small flicker to appear and fade. Breath in, a gentle arrival. Breath out, a gentle release. Notice now the quiet space between thoughts, not empty, more like very high air, thin and still. When a thought drifts away, there is a moment before the next one forms. A small clear patch of sky. Rest there, even for half a second. Then again, and again. These clearings may grow the way gaps between clouds slowly widen on a calm day, without effort, without you needing to push anything aside. The world beyond your screens is not somewhere you have to reach. It is already here, inside this inner sky, wide, unhurried, patient. As your body grows heavier, the sky within grows lighter. As your muscles soften, the space behind your eyes opens, thoughts as clouds, feelings as weather, memories as distant birds that know their way home without your guidance. You can rest as the sky itself, not as any one cloud or bird or gust, just this open, quiet expanse that holds everything and is troubled by none of it. Breathing in, you touch that openness. Breathing out, you sink deeper into it. And if thoughts keep coming, they are only movement across a space that remains calm and clear. A sky that has always been here, waiting behind the noise. For now, you can drift in that wide, gentle height, body heavy below, mind spacious above, clouds passing, birds crossing, weather changing, and through it all, this steady, endless sky within you, watching, soft and still. The weight of your body settles the way a carriage settles onto its tracks, steady, supported, held by something that knows exactly where it is going. Somewhere in the distance, a train is already moving through the night. You are on it without needing to step aboard. The motion finds you where you are. The air around you feels like the quiet inside a sleeping carriage. Dimension, soft, edges blurred. Fabric against your skin becomes the padded seat, or the narrow bed by the window. The surface beneath you has that gentle firmness, that quiet promise that it will keep holding you, mile after mile. Outside, the world is passing, slow enough to be seen, far enough to stay a dream. Countryside slips by beyond the glass, not in sharp pictures, more like smudges of darker and lighter shades. A line of trees, a field, a small road that crosses under the tracks and is gone again. The train rocks you in a rhythm older than thought, a small sway, a tiny lift and fall, the kind of movement that asks nothing from you. Each breath falls into that rhythm. Inhale as the carriage leans a little to one side. Exhale as it settles back, a quiet, continuous dance between your chest and the tracks. You can feel how the world outside is large, and yet it keeps its distance. Villages are there, but dim. Houses are there, but their windows are mostly dark. A single light in an upstairs room glows and is gone. Inside this moving space, time begins to stretch. Minutes no longer arrive in straight lines. They come as soft pulses, like the repeating sound of wheels meeting the joints in the rail. There is the faint, predictable hum of the train, a low, cotton-wrapped sound that fills the space without crowding it. You might imagine the vibration under the soles of your feet, under your back, under your head, all joined to the same quiet engine pulling you forward. Your hands rest where they are. Their weight belongs to this seat, this bed, this night train. Fingers uncurl as if they have been holding onto a rail for a long time and have finally found a place to rest. Outside the window, the countryside sleeps. Fields lie flat and unbothered. Lines of hedges drift past like slow handwriting. A barn appears, then fades into the dark behind you. You do not need to watch it all. It is enough to know the world is still moving, even as your thoughts grow slower. The train carries the motion for you. Every so often, a distant station appears. You feel it before you see it. The subtle easing of speed. The faint change in sound, like a breath being taken. Then a platform slides into view. Empty benches. A vending machine humming to itself. A sign with the station's name. The letters just a blur. The train does not fully wake for this. It pauses maybe, or only softens its pace. Doors might open somewhere along the carriages. A sigh of air. A shift in weight. You remain where you are. The world can step on and off without you. You stay with the hum, with the rocking, with the long stretch of track still ahead. When the train moves again, there is a small, almost private push, a gathering of quiet strength. Then the countryside returns, as if it had been waiting just beyond the platform lights. Trees pass in slow procession. A single tree stands closer than the rest, its branches briefly sketched against the night, then erased. Farther away, a line of hills suggests itself, more feeling than shape. Inside, the carriage is a cocoon of low sound and shadow. Seats, curtains, maybe a narrow corridor with a thin strip of light along the floor. You can imagine that strip of light, steady and pale, guiding no one in particular, just existing, the way your breath exists now. Quiet, continuous, not asking to be noticed. The edge of your body begins to blur, like the scenery outside the window. Where your shoulder ends and the seat begins is not so clear anymore. Where your legs end and the mattress starts is a gentle question with no urgent answer. Thoughts appear like distant station lights, one or two at a time. A memory, a plan, an old conversation. They glow briefly, far off beside the tracks. You pass them without needing to step out. The train keeps moving, and each thought is left behind, smaller and softer with every mile. Your breathing has its own track now, a long, smooth line. Inhale along one rail, exhale along the other. They run together, side by side, disappearing into the same darkness ahead. The night outside thickens, but not in a heavy way, more like a blanket pulled up over the world. Fewer shapes, more suggestion. The countryside becomes a single gentle presence, flowing past the glass. Inside, your awareness drifts from place to place. The weight of your head, the curve of your spine, the way your ankles rest, not quite touching, like two small suitcases leaning against each other in the overhead rack. You do not have to follow where your thoughts try to go. They are passengers who may board and leave at any station. You are closer to the tracks, to the motion itself, to the simple fact of being carried. Another station comes and goes. This one has more light, a clock on a pole, its hands pointing to a time that does not matter here. A single person on the platform, hands in pockets, looking down the line. The train passes or pauses, then moves on. Their world stays there. Yours continues in this narrow rocking room of air and fabric and steady sound. Gradually, the spaces between stations grow longer. Fewer lights, more open land. The rhythm of the wheels becomes the only clock. Your sense of direction loosens. Forward, backward, yesterday, tomorrow. They all start to feel the same. Just track beneath you. Just the night around you. Just the steady slide of distance. The border between outside and inside softens too. The window is there but thin. The cool of the night presses lightly against the glass. The warmth of the carriage presses back. Somewhere in between those two temperatures you hover. Not quite in the fields, not quite in the bed. Suspended in the small space where movement and stillness meet. If a thought comes, it is like the brief flicker of a crossing signal far away. It blinks. It fades. The train continues. You may sense the long line of carriages stretching behind you, each one holding its own small pockets of sleep and almost sleep. People half dreaming, people not thinking at all. You are part of that long, quiet shape cutting through the countryside, joined to all of it, and yet not needing to speak to any of it. Just another resting presence, moving through the dark. The sound of the wheels on the rails smooths out even more. Less clatter, more glide. As if the train has found a section of track that remembers every journey it has ever carried, and has learned how to make them easier. Your body remembers too, how to soften, how to sink, how to be moved without effort. The world beyond the tracks will keep changing. Fields will become towns, towns will become fields again. Signs will pass that you do not read. All of that can happen without you needing to follow. You ride inside the hum, inside the rocking, inside the slow, unhurried progress of this sleeping train. For now, there is only this, the steady path of the rails, the gentle blur of the countryside, the quiet, continuous motion that carries you deeper into the night. The air around you is very still now, as if the whole world has paused, as if even sound has curled up somewhere quiet and gone to rest. In this pause, something begins to lift, not quickly, not all at once. Just the faintest sense that the weight of your body is loosening its hold. The pull beneath you softens, edges blur. You are no longer pressed down. You are being held up, as though a gentle hammock has appeared beneath you, not made of fabric, made of air, of night. Thin threads of quiet stretch from somewhere above, somewhere beyond, and cradle you where you are. The mattress, the pillow, whatever is beneath you, becomes part of this hanging nest, suspended in the dark, swaying so slowly it can barely be called movement. Each exhale adds a little more lightness, as if the breath leaving your chest takes a grain of heaviness with it. Your shoulders loosen first. They no longer need to grip the day. Then the back of your head, the way it rests, the way it sinks, changes. It is not sinking down anymore. It is settling into a soft curve in the air. Imagine that, high above a quiet world, there is a small hollow made just for you, a nest woven from silence and sky, The strands are soft against your skin. They hold your shape without asking anything in return. Around this nest there is open space in every direction, not empty in a cold way, empty in a gentle way, spacious. Below, far below, the world has become very small. All the streets and screens and conversations have shrunk to a faint pattern, like the stitching on a blanket seen from far away. You are above it now, not distant in anger or in effort, just quietly above. The air is cool where it touches your face, cool and still and thin. Your hands rest where they are, but the sense of their weight is changing. Fingers unhooking from the day. They could be leaves resting in this hammock of sky. They could be feathers tucked close. Your chest rises, falls, falls. With every rise, the nest lifts a fraction higher. With every fall, it settles back into its own gentle curve, a slow, almost invisible rocking, so small that your body does not need to track it. It happens for you. Up here, time is different. It has stretched out, thinned, become almost transparent. Moments do not line up in a row anymore. They hover around you like soft bits of dust in a shaft of light. You do not have to reach for any of them. They drift closer, then away. Memories, plans, stray thoughts. From this height, they are just shapes in the air below. Little outlines on the surface of the quiet world. You can see them without stepping into them. They are like small towns you pass over at night, lights flickering, but no need to land. The nest holds you steady. The hammock of sky knows how to sway without spilling. The edge of your body is less clear now. Where does your arm end and the air begin? Where does your back end and the night begin? The boundary softens, blurs, as if the threads that cradle you are weaving through you as well, not just around you. They pass through your shoulders, through your spine, through the space behind your knees, gentle, weightless strands. They do not pull. They simply remind each part of you that it can rest. Your legs, heavy earlier, now feel like they are resting in a sling of soft air. The muscles do not need to hold their own shape. The hammock does that for them. Below, the quiet world turns. Very slowly. You do not feel the turning. You are just aware that it is happening somewhere far beneath your nest. Tiny movements, tiny changes, all taking care of themselves. Up here, nothing presses against you. No corners, no hard edges, only the smooth curve of being held. If a thought tries to climb up to you, it reaches the edge of this nest and then forgets what it came for. It curls up in the woven threads and becomes part of the structure that holds you. Even worries can do that. They can turn into quiet fibers, part of the cradle, no longer sharp, no longer asking. Your face loosens. The space around your eyes softens, as though the sky itself is cupping your forehead. Your jaw releases just a little. The roof of your mouth feels wider, like there is more space inside your head for air and quiet to move. Here, in this hanging place, nothing is urgent. If there were clocks below, they would still be ticking, but their sound cannot reach you. Their hands turn, but up here, those circles mean nothing. There is only the slow, almost soundless swing of your nest, a tiny sway to one side, a tiny sway back. You might imagine faint strands stretching up from the corners of this hammock, reaching into the dark, anchoring you to something you do not need to see, Whatever holds those strands is steady, older than your day, older than your thoughts. It has held many nights like this. It knows how to keep you suspended. Your breathing has become its own small rhythm now, a rhythm that belongs more to this floating place than to the ground below. Inhale, the nest rises into the invisible hands that hold it. Exhale, it settles deeper into its own soft shape. You are not trying to stay here. You are not trying to rise. You are simply being carried, as if you had been a stone all day. And now, at last, someone has lifted you from the ground and placed you in a hammock of air. The stone remembers how to be heavy, but it is learning how to be held. Above you, the sky is wide and dark and quiet. Below you, the world is dim and distant. Around you, nothing but the gentle curve of this nest, this cradle, this hanging bed of stillness. You are not separate from it any more. Your outline has thinned, like chalk in the rain. What remains is softness, warmth, breath. If sleep wants to come, it knows exactly where to find you. Here, floating above the quiet world, in a hammock the night has made, in a nest only you can feel. Suspended between one breath and the next, between the day that has already fallen away and the dreams that are beginning to rise to meet you. The room around you is still here, quiet, unmoving. Somewhere in that quiet, a single light is still on. Not bright, not harsh, just the last light in the room. It might be a small lamp, a panel on a wall, a soft square of glow above a bank of resting controls. Everything else has settled into shadow. Your body rests in its own place, like part of the furniture now. Nothing to manage, nothing to adjust. That last light waits where it has always been, steady, patient. You can sense it more than see it. A faint outline in the air, a gentle halo over the quiet shapes of the room. Around it, darkness has already gathered. Not an empty darkness, a kind, muffled one. The surfaces closest to the light still hold a little color. Edges are soft, but you can tell where they are. The nearby switches, the smooth curve of a dial, the resting screens. They are no longer working, just existing. Each breath you take seems to dim the room by the smallest degree. On the in-breath, the light holds steady. On the out-breath, the shadows lean in a little more. The ceiling above is fading first. What was once clearly there is now only suggestion, a tone instead of a shape. The corners of the room dissolve next. They lose their sharpness, become gentle, like charcoal smudged by a slow fingertip. Your own edges follow, the line of your shoulders, the outline of your legs, the space where your body meets what is beneath you. All of that becomes softer, less exact. You are here, and also not only here. You are the weight resting, and also the space around that weight. That small light, the last one, keeps watch without effort. Its glow has thinned, like fabric worn to silk. Still it glows. You might imagine standing beside it, hand near but not touching, feeling the slight warmth it gives to the air. This light has seen every movement in this room, every flicker of thought, every plan, every decision. Now none of that is needed. The controls below it are quiet. No signals waiting. No blinking indicators asking for attention. The panels rest like closed eyes. The buttons like tiny islands in a night tide. If there were numbers once scrolling, shifting, demanding to be read, they have gone dark. They have joined the background. Only that last light remains. It has begun to dim in a way that is almost hard to notice. Not a switch. A soft, gradual exhale of brightness. Imagine its glow as something you can feel along your skin. A faint warmth brushing your forehead, your cheeks, the bridge of your nose. As it lessens, your muscles loosen with it. The light over your chest grows softer. Your chest responds, rising and falling with less effort. As if the room itself is breathing with you, the glow along your arms thins out. Your hands become heavy and quiet, fingers no longer preparing to reach for anything. Around your hips, your legs, the light barely reaches now. They belong more to the darkness than to the glow, comfortably hidden. The room has its own kind of heartbeat, slow, measured. Every so often the light seems to pause, to hover at one level of dimness. Then, with the next breath, it releases a little more. You do not need to help it. You do not need to stop it. This is what lights do. They shine. They fade. The darkness that rises to meet it is gentle. It carries no demand. It simply takes in what the light no longer needs to hold. If you listen in this half-dark, there is a different kind of silence. A silence that has thickness, depth. It wraps around the consoles and the panels. It rests on the unused surfaces like a soft cloth. Even thoughts, when they appear, seem to step more quietly here. They move through the dim glow like figures in a hallway where the lights are almost out, slow, unclear. They do not need to come close. They can stay at the far edge of the room, bare outlines. The last light in the room has grown smaller now. What was once a wash of brightness is a small pool, just enough to see the gentle shine on a single switch, the curve of a single knob. Beyond that pool, everything is one shade, a smooth, even darkness. You might notice how comforting that is. No sharp contrasts, no sudden brightness, just one tone, stretching from wall to wall, from ceiling to floor, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. The light has one more task, and it gathers up the last bits of the day, the last scraps of thinking, the final questions that did not find answers. It holds them for a moment in its soft circle. Then as it dims a little more, they thin out with it. They become less detailed, less solid, until they are only faint shapes in the air, then only memory, then nothing at all. The room no longer needs to be watched. It no longer needs to be understood. The panels can be dark. The controls can rest. The last readout can fade from the inner screen of your mind. The light is almost gone now. What remains is a suggestion of glow. Like a word remembered but not spoken, you may still sense where it is. A soft center in the room, a warmer patch in the dark. Even that begins to spread out. The glow thins until it is not a point anymore, but a faint haze that belongs as much to the darkness as to the light. Your awareness follows it from sharp to soft, from focused to wide. The last light in the room does not go out with a click. It sighs itself into the dark. One breath, and a little more dim. Another breath, and only the memory of brightness. Another, and the room is simply itself, quiet, unlit. Yet nothing is missing. In this full darkness, the space feels complete, whole. You are here, but the outline of you has blurred into the room. Your body and the dark share the same stillness. Thoughts, if they come, are like faint after-images of that light, soft, uncertain at the edges. They do not need to stay. They can fade back into the same deep shade that holds everything else. Now the room rests. The controls rest. The last light has finished its work. What remains is the darkness that asks for nothing, expects nothing. Just this quiet. Just this soft, endless, gentle dark. The room is quiet now, quieter than before. Inside you, the one who keeps watch is beginning to sit down. Not gone, just easing back. Every breath you take is like a dimmer switch turning slowly, gently, toward low. The bright, alert part of you softens. Edges blur. There is a panel inside you full of tiny switches. Some are for plans, some are for worries. Some are for listening for every sound. One by one, they find their resting place, not snapped off. Just ease to a quiet middle, no effort. The switch for what if has been working all day. It has clicked on with every new thought. Now its little light grows tired, and the glow fades down to almost nothing. The switch for what next has been humming under everything. It can feel the weight of your body settling. It understands. It lowers itself, like a hand slipping from a doorknob in the dark. Even the switch for stay awake just in case begins to yawn. It has been standing at its post for a long time. It leans back, stretches, and finds it can rest while you rest. Your eyes, even closed, have their own switches. The one that scans for shapes and shadows grows still. It knows the room now. Nothing new to find. Inside your ears, the switch that jumps at every sound grows quieter. It hears the same soft patterns, familiar, predictable. If a sound comes, it is like a distant light in a hallway. The watcher inside you sees it, nods, and goes back to its chair. The switch for hold yourself together loosens. Your shoulders do not need to hold the day anymore. They can slide down just a little, as if someone turned them to rest. Your hands have their own small controls. All day they have been on, reaching, typing, holding, carrying. Now their switches drift down to quiet. Fingers curl in the way they do when nothing is being asked of them. Not arranged, not posed, just the shape of enough for today. The switch for remember everything has been bright and sharp. Names, tasks, lines of thought. Now it grows fuzzy at the edges, like a label left out in the sun. Words loosen and wander away. Even the switch that watches your own thoughts begins to blink slower. It does not need to check each idea as it passes. Thoughts can come and go without a guard at the gate. There is a master switch somewhere deep, the one that says stay ready. It has been upright for so long it forgot there was any other way to be. Tonight it feels a softness rising up around it, the weight of the mattress, the warmth around your body, the long, slow rhythm of your breathing. All of this leans gently on that master switch, not forcing, just showing it how it might feel to rest. You are not turning anything off forever. You are not abandoning your post. You are simply dimming the board, just enough that the lights of the day no longer glare against your mind. Just enough that the watcher inside you can close its eyes. If a part of you still stands, still looks around, that is all right. Even a guard can sit in a soft chair. Even a lookout can wrap a blanket around their shoulders. That inner watcher can rest its back against the wall, head tipping forward, eyes half closed, listening in a loose, lazy way. Nothing is pressing in this moment. Nothing is waiting at the door. The switches hum in a low, even tone, not bright, not dark. Just a quiet in-between where sleep can find you. Breath by breath, more of the board grows still. A small light here, a small light there, gently winking out until what remains is a soft glow deep inside, barely there, just enough to know you are here breathing. Everything that needed watching has been watched. Everything that needed holding has been held. Now even the switches sleep, and you can drift with them into the dark, gentle quiet that waits just beyond words. The central metaphor of this audiobook has been the world as a room filled with switches, dials, and lights, a control room that has been slowly powered down until it is still. The title promised an experience where the world truly stops for a while, so rest can happen. This conclusion will reflect that promise fulfilled by letting the control room of their world fall fully dark and quiet, with everything safely stopped, and the one who tended it finally lying down to rest. The room of your world is quiet now. All the switches that once glowed are down. The panels that blinked and called for you have gone dark. No screens waiting, no signals asking. The work of tending it all is over for tonight. The one who watched every dial, who listened for every change, has stepped away from the controls. That one is here, lying down, held by the bed instead of holding the world. The world has stopped for a while. It remembers how, outside this small circle of softness, life can keep its own time. It doesn't need you to keep it turning. Inside, the room of your world has closed its eyes. Monitors sleep. Buttons rest under still fingers. Lights stay off. The thinking part of you can keep thinking. It's just background now, like the hum of something far away. In another building, on another night, breath moves in its own slow rhythm. Ribs rise, ribs fall. The body understands what to do. When the world goes quiet, there is nothing more to manage. All the lists, the watching, the waiting for the next thing, have stepped outside this door. They are not lost. They are simply not here. Here, there is only this dim, peaceful room that once ran everything and now runs nothing at all. Everything that needed to stop has stopped enough for tonight. The mind may still murmur. It knows how to murmur itself quiet. Slowly, the edges of this room soften. The walls that held the switches blur into darkness. Even the idea of world loosens and drifts, like a coat slipped from tired shoulders. What is left is simple: warmth, weight, breath. The one who kept the world spinning is off duty now. No calls, no alarms. Sleep has already started its work, quietly, without asking for attention. There is no need to follow it. It comes closer on its own. Thoughts settle on their own, like dust in a room no one is walking through. The world will wait. It knows how to pause. For now it has stepped back, dimmed its lights, lowered its voice, so the one at the center of it all can drift away. For a while, away from switches, away from sound, back into the deep, soft dark. Behind the eyes, breath in, breath out. The body knows the rest.